So my task today is to kind of like give you the secret formula for onboarding. Like, what is it that you can do, any SaaS can do to improve your trial to paid, well, actually traffic to trial and trial to paid conversions. I mean, that's the golden ticket, right, for SaaS, is being able to create a product that converts automatically. The term product-led growth is very popular. I don't love that term because I think it's a little bit misleading. But you know, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to get like just drive traffic, have it convert. You not to get on sales calls and have to sell people on stuff. And that's kind of what I've spent my career focusing on is how to do that. So and I've probably worked with, I don't know, around 70 to 80 different SaaS companies. I've seen lots of different onboarding processes. I have a lot of insight into the numbers. So like, what is a good onboarding conversion rate? What is not? And from a range of different products too, like very user specific or use case specific products. And there's a few like general overall tips that I can give you about improving your conversion rates. But there's also things that are very specific to you that as a conversion doctor, it would be malpractice for me to start recommending things for you to do without understanding like your product and what's working and what's not working, because every market is different, and what works for one market may not work for another, and what works for one SaaS product might not work for another if you have an identical, like a competitor that you're working with. And so it's hard for me to give you like exact like step-by-step process for what to do. So please keep that in mind as I'm coming in like as a doctor, giving you best practice recommendations. But if you really want like specific tailored advice, my suggestion is to get you know, someone like me or someone else, an outside perspective, to look in and show you and give you some personalized tips and test to see what's working and what's not working. But generally speaking, onboarding should not be an afterthought. So an afterthought to me is and there's nothing against these products, and I'm sure some of you actually have SaaS onboarding products that you built, right? They're called like walkthrough or tooltip or whatever tools. I have a few really good friends at User Guiding is one that I've worked with for a long time, and these are great products. But if you build your product and then expect a tooltip or walkthrough tool to solve the onboarding problem, you are going to be very disappointed, because those are not all the time, but most people use those tools as a band-aid to fix the real problem, which is a product experience problem. It's not an onboarding problem. Have you ever been into a SaaS, logged in, and then had a 12-step walk-through onboarding flow where you click next, 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 next? If any of you ever done that and thought this is not helpful? A lot, right? And guess what? It's not, most of the time it's not helpful for your users, because what you're doing is you're giving them a walkthrough when they need a Sherpa to like guide them through the process and help them have success. So so not all the time. If you have a very new product and it's like somebody logs in and they don't know where anything is, right? If it's like if the market is not mature, then you need to walk through and show them where stuff is, right? But that's different than having them have success with the product. So let me give you a real life example. So I'm working with a client right now. I'm not going to give you the name of the client because I didn't ask you if it was okay if I did that. But it's a car rental management tool. And what he did was the onboarding was essentially dropping them into the software, and with a couple of tutorial videos in the knowledge base, and as a developer, somebody who's so involved in the product, the myth that we tell ourselves is that our product is so good that somebody, when they log in, that they're going to figure it out, and that they're gonna, as soon as they try it, they're gonna love it. We have to remember that when we drop somebody into a product without having any type of like success flow, then they're going to be overwhelmed and they're going to have to figure things out themselves. And that's one thing that most people do not have, is like the time and energy to figure out if something's going to work for them, right? Because that's essentially what they're doing. Most of the people that are signing up for your products are aware that products like yours exist, and that they're trying to find they're trying to pick out of the options that are available to them, right? And so most of the conversions, the biggest conversions you're going to have are 80% of your conversions are going to happen within the first 24 hours. Most of the time, right? It's pretty rare to see your conversions happen, after 24 hours, 48, a week, 2 months, right? When I started off doing onboarding and teaching onboarding and like trying to figure this stuff out, what I would do is implement emails, right? Because there was a really simple thing to do. You have like 7 or 10 emails that go out that explain the product. The problem is those emails didn't really help increase conversions in the first 24 hours. It just helped bring people back into the product if they didn't complete the onboarding. So it realizes that we needed to have what I call internal versus external onboarding. So external onboarding is everything that happens outside of the product, like emails, calls. Like if you look at HubSpot, like there's a massive external onboarding process where they send you emails and texts, and they call you, they come visit you at your door, they send you packages, like try to get to use HubSpot, right? But everything internal is everything happens inside the product. So what I realized is that internal onboarding is very, very important, and it shouldn't be an afterthought. So and it should be built into the product. So what I mean by that is when somebody signs up, you should help them accomplish the goal that they signed up to achieve. And in some cases, you're lucky if you have a very, very specific use case. I saw someone mention a little bit earlier in the chat, repair desk, a point of sale software for repair store owners. Man, so specific. Okay, like in this case, what they need to do in order to have success with the product and see the value of the product, right? First of all, they need to connect their whatever. I don't know if this is a free trial experience. There's probably some kind of like demo involved in repair desk, but let's say it wasn't, and it was a self-serve product. What are the things that they need to do in order to achieve the value or the job to be done that they're trying to accomplish? And a lot of times we focus in the marketing side, we focus on the big outcome that they're going to get, right? So like, I'm just going to make this up because I haven't even looked at repairdesk.co. We think people want to see these huge promises, like if you sign up for Repair Desk, your sales are going to go through the roof. You'll never have to worry about collecting payments again. You can hire people. Your business is going to grow. You're going to be the biggest repair desk company in the city or whatever. We make all these big promises, and then when we get them into the product, what they really want is just to accomplish a job to be done most of the time. Now, if you see people like Russell Brunson and all that, their focus is the promise of ClickFunnels, right? It's one funnel away, quit your job, But the job to be done really is just to create a website, a simple 3-page website with some upsells and downsells, right? And if I were to create a ClickFunnels alternative, I would not focus on that outcome because I don't have control over that outcome. What I do have control over is being able to create a funnel with upsells and downsells and design and all that stuff. So we often focus too much on the promise. Now, it's not bad to include the promise in our like marketing, right? Like Repair Desk, for instance. One of the promises is you might save money on employees, right? But that shouldn't be like the focus of it. It should be here's the job to be done. And then when you get them into the product, your onboarding should be designed to get that job to be done so that they don't make it as easy as possible for them to get that job to be done. Set up their POS, get their first products installed, get their first customer, right? And so the way that we do that is through kind of like an onboarding flow. And can I show you guys an onboarding flow that we just did for a company? This one in particular, the client I'm referring to, I mean, please don't share this outside of this call. This is this is not proprietary stuff, but it's like, I don't want like this stuff out there except for you guys. They were stuck at a specific MRR. Once we implemented this onboarding, their churn went down. They cut their churn 10%. So their churn was already pretty high. And their activation rate went up. I think it was probably like 70%. So like instead of 2 out of 8 people, it was like 6 out of 8 people were completing their activation process. And the revenue went up. Let me just calculate this really quick. So it was about a 20% increase in revenue bump immediately after we implemented this onboarding. Okay, so before they were just dropping people into the product and expecting them to figure out what to do. And not only that, these guys were asking for a credit card first. Okay, so this is like there's extra friction here. And I'll just show you this. So give me 1 second here. Before I jump into this, any questions? This is the new homepage we did for them. And if you guys want a good formula for a homepage, like this is a really good one. Really simple, entering your email right away to get them to sign up for an account, reduce the friction. This gets you to get them your email. So you can follow up with them if they don't do anything. If you make the onboarding process like 17 steps before you can even get their contact information, that doesn't allow you to follow up with them. So have them put in their email right away and deliver the promise, create their free account, right? I won't go into this in detail, but as you can see, it's very focused on the job to be done. Accept reservations, instantly track reservations and returns, detailed customer information at your fingertips. Click and drag rental availability. Like this is very product focused, but this is what people want in a product like this. We're not saying rent 700 more cars a month, right? And then if you guys have features showing up, if you're talking about features, show that feature. Do not put a graphic of a face if you're saying like profile pictures. Like actually show the profile pictures. Because this is a chance to show the product in action. Gives people a chance to see what it's going to be like when they get into the product, okay? All right, so anyways, get started for free, and here's what happens when they sign up for an account. This is what we have now. This is not what they had before. So this is part of the onboarding, right? This is like, all right, you have to create your account, okay? So what we're doing is we're laying out the path for them so they know what's coming up. We're not going to surprise them with billing information. Like they can see this, and this is a map that's showing them first I'm going to sign up, then I'm going to put in my billing information, and then I'm going to complete. Okay. We make it very clear that this is a 7-day trial. Okay. And we have very few information in the sign-up process because we know, and again, this is why I can't like tell you exactly how to do it for your product, because they asked for billing information. We only ask for a few, the absolute basic fields in the sign-up process, okay? We have some testimonials over here, right? Next step is the billing. Okay. You see how clean this is and how easy it is to understand. So sign up is done. Billing. Here's your plan. I made this very, very simple, full name and card number. Okay, because the more fields that you have, the more mental weight there is. And so when you enter in your full name and card number, like this actually pops down, and once you put their card number in, you can see like the CVV number, and you put their zip code. So I don't show that information here, but when you put it in, the fields pop down. Okay, so it's less overwhelming. Then start free trial, and then very, very clear, you're not being billed anything today. In fact, it says it right here, $0 for 7-day free trial, billed monthly, then $69 per month. Okay. And then we went into the onboarding. So this is what the onboarding looks like. Okay. Now we know that there are certain things that they need to do in the onboarding process for them to have success. We need to know their company name, we need to know their address, and their company email and their logo. Once we put those in there, like their whole account will like look really cool, because the logo, we take the colors from the logo, put it in their website. The emails that come out for their company is going to, it'll have their company name, right? So all those personalization steps really make it so that they feel like they actually experience the value of the product. There's a difference between seeing the value and actually experiencing the value. And then we drop them into the onboarding flow. Okay. Now notice there's another one that we did here where we added this account setup progress thing. Now this is showing them, this is us saying to them, in order for you to have success with the product and set up, this is the steps you need to take. This is what you need to do. It's not dropping them in and saying, here's a bunch of tool tips and like walkthrough. Like if I log in and I come back a year later, I will know exactly what I need to do to get my account set up. Okay, because I have this little 40% thing. I can click on account setup and it'll take me back to the onboarding screen here. So here's a few things. We have the steps completed. We have each of the step with a little check mark. And then we have all of the things they need to do. Add your first rental, add on customization, set your rental availability, add payment, launch your rental website. So these are like big tasks, right? But actually launching your rental website isn't that hard. It's a really easy process in here. But this shows them everything that they need to do. Are you ready to pick a plan? You have 7 days, 3 days, 2 days left in your. So we're like, you can see how like we're communicating everything, and expectations are set so that they know exactly what's happening at any time, and they know exactly what they need to do to have success with the product. Okay, so this completely changed their whole onboarding and conversions. This was just massive. Let me see if there's anything else, and then I'll show you the pricing page here too. So one thing that most of their competitors do is they charge different pricing tiers, right? So it's $29, or $19 for this one, $29, $59, whatever, right? And each one has different tiers, and it's got like different things included in each tier. Well, guess what? That makes it really hard for somebody to pick a plan because they don't know what's the best fit for them. Do I need access to this like sub feature in the feature somewhere, like, or do I not, right? And every time your customer has a confused customer doesn't buy. Somebody who's confused does not buy. So if you make it simple for them, and that's what we did, is we decided he actually decided not to go with this plan. Actually, he did it, but it's not $48 a month. But instead of having multiple plans, we just have one plan. How much easier is it to decide to pick a plan when there's only one plan that includes everything? Right? Again, it may not work for you, but I mean, it's a much easier decision, right? Okay, so that is just an example of one of the onboarding flows that we did. This is really fresh and new. This is not old from like 10 years ago. So if you want like a basic framework for this, then I would suggest going back to this video and looking at this, because this is a really good one. Okay. Okay. Feel like I've done enough talking. Let me answer some questions here. Usama, you've learned a lot. In fact, I was looking at content trips and it's looking really good too. Any reason to ask for billing straight away rather than after the trial? Yes, it absolutely gates signups a bit, but that's exactly what he wanted to do, is because he had people signing up that were abusing the system, and he has server costs that are included during the trial, there's support that's included, so he didn't want to carry, as my dad would use the term, freeloaders. He didn't want to like get a bunch of freeloaders signing up. So it gates signups, absolutely, but that's exactly what he wanted to do. I don't suggest doing that unless they're abusing your system, or you know, if there's a lot of competition and nobody's asking for a credit card and you're asking for a credit card, it's probably not a good idea to do that. But I don't really know. You'd have to test it. So you might find that asking for a credit card increases revenue. I had a client that I was working with where they were doing a free trial, and like no one was converting, and they decided to test $1 trial for 14 days and immediately started getting signups and conversions. And it's like, we never would have guessed that. Like, but we had to test it and try it to see, because some people actually want to pay money because they feel like it's more valuable if they're being asked to pay $1, right? But then your front end marketing has to be better, right? It has to be able to sell the product. So that would be the reason, Samir. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Ali, question: in the last step screen, are there any redirections, or the user does everything on the same screen? Yes, these go right to the screen where they put in their vehicles. So like if you click on add your first rental and a little button that says add your first rental, it'll take you to the reservation screen where it just has all of the steps to enter in your rental. That's it. Like, we don't even have any walkthroughs really, because it's really simple. Like, you just put in your name of your car, the description, image, submit, boom. And as soon as it's done that, it triggers this little check mark to add your first rental. Samir, you have spammers who keep signing up and abuse the free trial option. Yes. Yeah. If you have that, it decreases the quality for everyone, Samir, because it's like, it takes time away from you, mental weight as well, so you can't focus on the product. So like, you know, it's not just like monetary costs. There's also a mental, physical, emotional cost of having people sign up and take advantage of your tool. So it might be worth it to just try putting in. But if you do ask for a credit card, please, this is, you know, I'm going to give you some medicine because I know your situation. Please use something like this. Be very, very clear what you're asking for. We actually will say, if you look here, what this is, I kind of skipped over this. Do you see this little thing here? Today, your 7-day trial begins. Day 5, you'll receive an email reminder. Day 7, if you love Fleet Finesse, you don't have to do anything. Your subscription starts. This is, again, really, really clear, setting expectations, so there's no question as what's going to happen. And I stole this from Netflix, by the way. This wasn't my idea. Like, Netflix had this thing, but it's brilliant. Here's what your Fleet Finesse trial includes. All this stuff. Okay. So all of the questions, remember, a confused mind doesn't buy. And also, they're going to have questions that need answering. And these are objections. Why wouldn't they sign up? Well, if I put in my credit card, am I going to be charged today? No. That's one of the questions they're asking. Also, are you going to bill me without me knowing? Are you just gonna like, are you gonna hope that I don't cancel so you can charge my credit card? No, because we're gonna send you an email 5 days before to let you know. And you can also cancel your subscription anytime before day 7 and you won't be charged. So it answers all the questions that they're asking in their head. Okay, and I've just done this so many times, like I know what questions they're asking. So you just address them ahead of time, and it reduces a lot of the friction. I wouldn't be surprised if you did something like this on your product. You will have less people signing up, but the people that do sign up are going to be much more motivated, right? And that actually helps with onboarding. If you put a credit card in, you are much more motivated to figure out the product than if you don't put in a credit card, right? But again, on the front end of your site, you have to make a promise big enough so that they feel like putting in their credit card is worth it. Okay. Awesome. Great questions, guys. Do they offer a paid onboarding to enterprise? Usman, I don't know if they do. This particular client, this one here, doesn't have an enterprise plan. They just have 1 or 2 plans. So there's no onboarding, and I don't think they want to be involved with that. I don't think they want to have, he doesn't even want his name associated with the product. You know, if you go to the actual site, you'll notice you can't even find the owner because he doesn't want his name associated with it. But you can offer paid onboarding to enterprise as an option. That's when you start working on getting into the upsells. Do you suggest giving out trials if a product doesn't offer an in-app self-serve experience? I do not recommend doing that, because that's essentially like taking your it's like, if you remember the show Survivor, where they take somebody and they just drop them in like a jungle and they're like, good luck, right? Like that's typically what people do, founders do, is they just drop somebody into a jungle and say, good luck, figure things out. Like your motivation is that you don't die, right? In Survivor or whatever. But like the motivation in the SaaS world is, the motivation is try to figure things out, and because we told you we could solve your problem, but you're going to kind of have to figure it out, right? Good luck trying to figure it out. So instead, guide them with what I showed you. You can drop them into something like that, but you're not going to see very high conversions. I'm really sorry if I'm saying this wrong. IDESOM. You have a high-touch funnel product. It's omni-channel contact center, which needs a lot of hand-holding. Okay. Yeah, okay. I work with clients who do want to decrease the amount of onboarding time while improving the customer experience. That is a tough one. That's kind of like saying we want to have a five-star hotel and hire less staff, right? Like if you go to Walmart, the experience in Walmart self-checkout is not the same as if you went to there's a grocery store around here called Harmon's, and it's like they don't let you do self-checkout. You have to go through, because the people they hire are like the most happy, friendly people. Like people go because of the experience at Harmon's. So you pay extra for it. You pay extra for that experience. Okay. If they took all that away and automated everything, it would be a different experience, but they'd attract a different type of person who wouldn't pay the prices that they're asking. Okay. So the customer experience, the desired customer experience needs to match what you're doing. So if you're charging $700 a month and trying to do self-serve, the $700 a month customer may not be the type of customer that you can just self-serve. So that's why what happens, I'm working with a client right now where they have a very, very high touch version of their product, but they created a low touch version that's much less complicated. They removed some stuff. They changed the name of the product, and now they're trying to do a self-serve because they want to attract a different part of the market. Does that make sense? Wow, great questions, guys. These are awesome. Would you recommend adding interactive product tours in the start, step-by-step walk to the first aha moment? Atir, I would not. I would go with something like this. This is different. This is what we call like built-in onboarding. It's built into the product. They can always come back. They can always see where they're at, what they need to do. A walkthrough, once you're done with it, it's kind of done and just kind of shows you where things are. This actually tells you what you need to do. But when somebody clicks on add-on customization and they get into the customization thing, a walkthrough might be helpful to show them really quickly where to go. If your product is not intuitive, if there's some kind of feature somewhere where it's like it's kind of hidden, or you have a really complicated product, a walkthrough might help, but that's a secondary thing, not a primary thing. Okay, great. If most conversions happen in the first 24 hours, you're going to email that encourages users to pay. No, I don't send emails that encourage users to pay. What I do is I send out emails that encourage people to to experience the value of the product, the magical moment, because that's what gets people to pay. Asking them to pay doesn't get them to pay. Trying to like send reminder emails that say your trial's ending. Nobody signed up for your product just because the trial was ending in 24 hours. They sign up because they see the value, they experience the value. So that should be your goal. Don't you ideally want somebody to sign up for your product and go, oh, I'm going to pay for this. Where's the sign up button? Right? You don't want to have to bug them over and over and over again. If they're not getting to that point, you're either attracting the wrong type of client or you're not helping them experience the value. So that's why it's so important with the first 24 hours or with the first 24 minutes to get them to make it as easy as possible for them to get to that moment where they feel and have the desire and they want to pay. I mean, there are some products that I pay for that I'm like, I am glad to send this money, right? There are some where the product expires or my credit card changes and I get notifications. I'm like, oh man, I'm glad that happened because I don't really use that tool, right? So you don't really want that, and I may not be the right market for some of these products, but as you're going through, if you're signing up for products yourself, like pay attention to what is the moment where you decide I have to have this in my life. I have to pay for this. Just like work backwards. That'll help you kind of see how some of these companies do that.
Aaron, a quick follow-up on that question. So I see that you're recommending like this embedded onboarding. I've seen in certain products like Miro, they take a lot of personalization questions first, like what use case are you solving for? What's your company size? So et cetera. And then after that, and all that information, the reasoning behind it is that they're going to personalize that experience. What's the balance, and do you even recommend doing that?
Great question. So what I've showed you right now is a use case specific onboarding. Okay, this is somebody who's logging in and we know exactly what they want to do. If you have something like content drips, which is a great product, by the way, you don't know what they want to do. They may be wanting to create a poster for their kid's soccer game, or they could be wanting to create a carousel for their massage, therapist company, right? So you don't know. So part of the onboarding is helping them figure out where they need to go to get the job to be done. And if you have a very horizontal use case product where somebody could log in and do like anything, right? Then you need to have a different type of onboarding, which is what Miro has. You go to DocuSign. DocuSign is another really good onboarding where they ask you, what kind of document do you want to create? What is it that you want to do? Do you want to get something signed? Do you want to create, are you looking to get a quote, a proposal? And they actually walk you through the whole process. It's really, really good onboarding because you don't know what they want to do. So in content drips, for instance, we look at what are the use cases. So somebody would sign up and you'd say, how can we help? Do you want to create, what can we help you create first, right? Because somebody's signing up for a design tool, they probably have something in mind that they want to do, right? So help them get to that as quickly as possible. Is it going to be and the question should be, is it job to be done focused or is it use case focused? So would it be, I want to get more sales for my company, right? Or do you want to create a Facebook ad? So those are two different paths that you could take. And I don't know what the answer to that is. We have to talk to your customers to like figure out when somebody signs up, do they have an idea and already in their head for like, yeah, I want to get more customers, or is it more job to be done focused? I just need to create a poster for my kids, whatever, right? So in that case, what I would do is I would say, when somebody logs in, I would say, what do you want to create? And then just have a big search bar. And it says, type in whatever you want to create. And then you type it in and it like dynamic shows up, poster, you have a really, really good search, right? So somebody could say, I want to create a Facebook ad or whatever, right? And then the right thing pops up and then you send them into that. And then maybe you have kind of like a walkthrough on the design tool to show them, here's what you need to do. Because you can't create an onboarding thing like this for every single type of post that you want to create or a poster or whatever. Like this wouldn't make sense. This wouldn't make sense for you for a design tool because there's just so many things that they need to do, right? So instead, you help them get to the right place and then show them what they need to do to have success. In an ideal world, what would you do? You would hop on the phone with them and you'd say, tell me what you want to create. Facebook ad? Cool. And you would pull up the Facebook ad and then you would say, great, send me your logo. What is your color scheme? And you do it all for them right on the call, right? So how can we automate that as much as possible so that they feel like they're getting a one-on-one demo when they sign up?
Aaron, in the interest of time, we have about 4 more questions in the queue. So I'll just pick a couple of them. I know we have the teardowns to do that. So I'll read them out to you so that you don't have to like search for them. So Usman asks, if the product is complicated to set up like Salesforce, what would you recommend on where to get started?
First, decide the type of customer you want to attract. Well, there's so many variables in there. So there's follow-up questions too that I would have for that, right? Like, first of all, you probably don't have a product like Salesforce. And if you do, it's very, very complicated. That means that you put a lot of money and time and energy into it, which means you're probably going to charge more money, which means that if you charge more, people are going to expect a better experience. So it's more than likely that you will have some kind of high touch sales process in there. That doesn't mean, not to say that you wouldn't have a free trial as a lead gen, right? Or as a kind of like a lead magnet. You get people in with a free trial. I mean, even with Salesforce, I believe you can sign up for a free trial. But when you sign up, they ask you a bunch of qualification questions, and if you're qualified, a salesperson reaches out, try to get you to upgrade, right? They don't care if you don't meet certain criteria; they're not going to send the sales team after you. So if you're trying to attract a really high level customer, they might expect a high level of onboarding, right? If you're trying to attract somebody who likes to do it themselves, DIYers, then you might have to charge less, but then you won't need to do as much onboarding, right? So there's a bunch of different like levers and stuff there you can move. So it's hard to tell without looking at your product.
Sounds good.
Hopefully that was helpful. Yeah.
I'll move on to the next one. Samir asks, does the onboarding screen appear as the first screen every time users return to the app, assuming they haven't completed the onboarding process 100%?
Yes, it does. We want to get them back to that. We can, one of the things we would probably do, and I think they implemented this, is like a hide button down here. Right. So it hides it, and then every time they log in, they go back to their dashboard. But if they haven't completed the onboarding, we want to remind them every time they log in, hey, you haven't completed this yet. And they can skip it, but we want them to see this.
Yeah. So there's no action where they dismiss, and then in every subsequent login, they don't see it, and they just have that top level broadcast.
I would recommend doing that. It doesn't show this on the design.
Sure.
But yeah, I would have some kind of dismiss or something. But they can always get back to it once they,
Sure.
And even on the dashboard, when they click on the dashboard, you'll see like a bar on the top that says, "Hey, your account isn't completed yet." So we have reminders, but we don't force them to go back there if they don't want.
Okay, sounds good. I'm just going to take one more, and then we'll let you go through a couple of posts. So Duolingo has pretty lengthy onboarding. It's not really popovers explaining the product, but asking users a lot of questions to better prepare them to get started with the app. Would you generally recommend such an approach for products, B2C consumer apps that might not be as popular as Duolingo?
It really depends. Duolingo has a very, very large presence in the market, and they're very well known. It means their trust is higher, which means they can ask more questions. They've earned the right to ask you more and more questions. because you've heard of Duolingo, you've heard from people that it works, right? You've heard them on NPR, you've heard them on you've seen them around. So they have the right to ask more questions and increase the qualifications. If you're just starting out, you may not want to do that because you want to have interviews with customers. You want to figure out who's using your tool and why they're using it. Then so you can pivot. So maybe you're the Duolingo for newly divorced moms who want to travel, right? Like that might be the angle that you want to take for that. And so if you do, then you would have a different onboarding process. But you don't want to put somebody through onboarding until you understand what they're trying to get from the product and who you're trying to talk to. So I wouldn't just copy Duolingo. If you're at 100,000 MRR and you've already proven the product, then yeah, maybe you would want to start your customer really well. You want to start adding product questions in there that filter them to get them to the right place. But it depends on where you're at. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I'll just tag one more, and then we can get into the main course. So will it be effective for an onboarding process to have a checklist within the platform, like to work as a reminder? If yes, then should it be customized for different niche and categories of users?
So a checklist is good. It's better than nothing. But again, it's a Band-Aid. It doesn't have the same amount of weight as a built-in onboarding process. It looks like an afterthought kind of. So in the mental state of the customer, what they see is, oh, these are some suggested things that I should do, right? Like and sometimes on checklists, I see like step number 5 is sign up for a paid plan. Like no. That should not be part of the onboarding. Like that should be the end result of the onboarding that they do automatically. So having a checklist is good. Having something built in where where it looks like it's part of the product and it has more weight to it is better.
Perfect. And thank you so much for those clear and direct answers. I guess we have a couple of live teardowns loaded up. I hope you got a chance to see both of them. So just to inform everybody else that there are a couple of products that we'll get into. One is PosterMyWall, and the second one, I believe, is Content Drips. And to you, Aaron.
Okay, cool. Can you guys still see my screen? Yeah.
We can see it. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to PosterMyWall. Do we have the founder on the call?
We have the product manager. I can't see Jaffer, but yeah.
Okay.
Ahmed Khan is the product PM over there, and it's ready to.
Okay. Awesome. So typically what I would do is I would bring the product manager on. We'd have a conversation, and I'd ask like, what is the current onboarding conversion rate? What is the traffic to trial? Who's your user? What are the use cases? Right. I'm going to give kind of like general feedback here, and I'm going to go through the onboarding actually, because I haven't been through the onboarding yet. One thing that's so effective is having somebody go through the onboarding who's never been through it before and just give you their thoughts. And I do this with people all the time, and I just love it. I love it. And it's really, really helpful. I'll briefly talk about, because I don't really know anything about PosterMyWall other than it looks kind of like a Canva alternative, right? And that's typically what you're going to be attracting, is people who are familiar with a Canva type service, who are unhappy with Canva. Okay, that's a great market. There's thousands and thousands of people who are unhappy with Canva, who want something different, right? So as a very high level, I would test, instead of easy marketing for busy people, I would test something like the Canva alternative that lets you do ... or some type of benefit. Canva, or the design tool for people who value control, right? Because that's what they're unhappy with Canva, is a lack of control, right? So that's just something that I would test. Let's go into, I'm not going to go through, I never suggest doing pick the plan that's right for you, because that's like going into a shoe store and a sign that says welcome to our shoe store, pick the shoe that's right for you. If you're like going to a running shoe store, like, I don't know what shoe is right for me. Should I get the Nike? Should I get the Reeboks? So instead, what I say is start for free, only pay if you love it. And then I have the plans, but who they're a good fit for. So ideal for marketing and small business, that's good, but it really should be more focused on the job to be done. So maybe some kind of like plan breakdown or something that's really simple. And there's a lot of stuff going on here. So again, most people are not going to start with the 9 and 29. They're going to start with the free plan, right? So the people are going to start with the free plan. The other question I would have is, if I start with the free plan, do I get access to any of the premium features? So automatically spell check content and design. The only way that I'm going to experience this feature is if I pay $29 a month. Now, that might make sense, but how will I know that I need this if I don't ever use it? Right? So getting them into the free plan and then automatically upgrading them to a premium plus for 7 days or 14 days will get them to experience what you have to offer them. Okay, so that's a big part of the onboarding, is getting them hooked on the product. Are they going to get hooked on the free plan and eventually maybe upgrade to the unlimited? Possibly, yeah, but I don't know the numbers. You might have a really good onboarding process already in place, and so you may not need that. But let's say I start the trial, right, and I realize I have access to unlimited brand kits, and I create 10 brand kits in 7 days. Those brand kits expire. Am I going to be more motivated to sign up for the paid plan now that I've experienced unlimited brand kits? Probably, right? So that's a big part of the onboarding. Okay, so let's just walk through this really quick. So I'm going to start with the free plan. Oh, interesting. Did that start for free? Okay. Okay, so this is a little bit different than if I click on start creating here. That's different than if I go to pricing and click on get started. That's interesting. Okay, so I would like to test what works better, but this is cool because I can jump in and write and start designing, right? So this is all part of the onboarding. Let's do Facebook ad. Okay, cool. So Facebook ad, and there's thousands and thousands of designs here. So again, a lot of options. And this would be a really, really good place for AI, because it'll help me find the right ad that I want, right? So instead of, like, people think that the only way to incorporate AI is to get get their content created, right? Like, type in the type of post that you want and our AI will create it. But AI can be used to help them accomplish the job to be done. So if it said, type in whatever you want, Facebook ad for massage, right? Oh, that's actually pretty good. So Facebook ad for massage, or Twitter post, right? So some of these are not really Twitter posts, right? So I'm not really getting what I want, and that's like a really important. You want to make sure that whatever they're searching for gets, that they can access it quickly. So let's do. Let's just go back to Facebook ad. And the other thing too is, when I'm looking at like Facebook ads, what would really blow me away is, if I'm looking for Facebook ads, and maybe your tool is really good at Facebook ads, a way to filter the ads by like conversion rates, right? Because one of the things I'll never forget about ClickFunnels when I first log into ClickFunnels is when you click a template, you can sort it by highest converting. That was like a huge aha for me, because if I'm building a landing page, do I really care about the design, or do I care about conversions? And so if I were to able to sort these by like conversion rates or whatever, and you're probably asking, well, how am I going to do that? Blah, 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 blah. Well, that's one way you can differentiate yourself. It's like, we just don't show you the Facebook ads. We show you Facebook ads that are actually working right now, right? That would blow me away. But anyways, let's go into one of these ads. So lets me edit this, which is really cool. I really like this because it lets me use the tool without having to sign up. That is really, really awesome. Looks like I can draw on it. Whoops. Okay, so let's do publish social media. Okay, now it's asking me to make my account. And this is great. I've experienced the value before I have signed up. I really, really like this. Although I think it could be better if you helped me find the design that I wanted to make. That would be really, really cool. But let's do sign up for free. Sign up with email.
So Emmett gets to walk off the red chair without getting roasted.
Yeah. All right, so let's
saved by an inch.
I have a special email for this. Hold on.
We didn't speak too soon.
All right, so I'm signing up. Okay, so now we're like in the in-app onboarding, right? So where do you want to publish? This is interesting. Facebook. Okay, so this is really interesting because what this onboarding is telling me is that people who sign up for PosterMyWall, their job to be done is to publish. It's for their social media. It's to publish their posts on social media. Now, I'm not ready to publish this yet because I didn't really spend any time designing it, but I think it might make sense. But now I have to connect my Facebook, and I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. So this, I imagine there's probably a drop off here. Because there's not an option to say save as PDF, right? I think this is a big. There's a chance that there's a huge drop off here. There's no way for me to say I just want to save it. I just want to, send it to my, team or whatever. Like if I'm some product manager and I'm trying to test this out, there's no way that I'm going to post this on my Facebook page without getting my team to review it, right? So I'm stuck here. There's no way for me to move forward unless I share it, unless that's the only type of person you want to attract. If you want to send away people who are not ready to post on their social media, this is great.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ahmed. The only way they can do that is to click edit design and then export from there, I believe.
Yeah, so like when you click edit design, it basically just like opens up a modal where you can like just make small changes, but it doesn't really open up the full-fledged editor. So you might not have the option to download from there, and you might have to like go back to the actual editor where we were in the first place.
Ahmad, do you have any stats here as to if there's a drop off here and what the drop off is?
Okay, so we don't really have any stats for like what the drop off at this point exactly is, but so the whole social media publishing flow, this was basically before this, like a few months ago, this was entirely within a single modal, right? Then we started to like we decided to make this wizard, this whole full page thing. So the one metric that I remember right off the bat was that the conversion of users, the number of users who actually like started using publishing through PosterMyWall, that almost went up around 260% within 6 months. So, but yeah, the drop-off rate exactly on this page that I don't have with me as of now. But that's actually a good point. I've taken a note for that, and I'm definitely gonna look into that as well.
Yeah, I would look at that. Because I'm totally stuck. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And if I go back, okay, it looks like it looks now I can actually go in and edit stuff. But like, let's say I wanted to create like a poster. Yeah, I mean, this is everything else looks cool. The one thing that I really noticed, so you're gonna be, there's just music attached to this? No, I don't know. It looks great. I mean, it looks really good. And I'm already used to Canva, right? So it's not like I don't have any experience here. But the few things that I really liked were the QR codes. That's really awesome. I can add a QR code, and then the layout one was really cool too. So tear off tabs, I noticed, is really cool. Canva doesn't have that. And schedule, that's really cool. I couldn't figure out how to like make this look better, but I'm sure I didn't really spend a lot of time on it. But you do have the download option. Okay, so basic, video free. Okay, so you have an upsell here. I'm gonna go back. Okay, content planner. So these are the things. Okay, try for free. Let's see. Plans. Premium. Your card will be charged on January 31st. Okay, cool. Yeah, you have something very similar here. Okay, so you have to pay in order to access those features, which is not a bad thing. Just like I don't know if I was able to upgrade to Premium Plus for 7 days by putting in, even if you said upgrade to Premium Plus for 7 days, all you need to do is enter in your credit card. You won't be charged anything, even when the trial ends. You can qualify people a little bit, but part of like the decision you have to make is like, if we gate it, does that encourage people to sign up because they know that they need it, or if we give them access to it, we'll increase conversions, right? So it's hard to say. But you have I don't think this is too bad. I think that last step was the one that really kind of stuck me, the wizard. And then also, if there's things that are different that you have about, and so I wouldn't have, we discussed this whole onboarding process here. Like, that doesn't make sense for something like PosterMyWall necessarily, because there's so many use cases, right? So they're like, there's having the little bar here that shows like the progress, because I don't know what your use case is yet. Like, so if PosterMyWall was only poster creation, then it would be like, create your poster, share with your friends, post to social media, right? But we don't really know. So, and because you have so many different things here, what I would have done on the onboarding is I would have said, what are you hoping to create? What would you like to create today with PosterMyWall, right? Like Facebook ad, poster, like the 7 major things that you can create. And then you get them right into those specific templates and help them create what it is they're trying to create. That would have been, I think that would have been really cool.
Cool.
That's some really awesome feedback, Aaron. Thanks so much. I've definitely taken notes, and I'm definitely discussing this with the rest of my team as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know if there's too much more in this. So
And yeah, we're already up on the hour, so I don't want to extend the time because I know some people would have to drop off. We can go to the second example and wrap that up very quickly.
yeah. Oh, content drips.
Yeah, this was amazing, by the way. Thank you so much. Like I at least
Okay.
started learning as well.
So content drips has made some major improvements recently. This and I noticed that you've made some really great changes to this. There's some things that I want to point out. And Usama and I kind of worked a little. I don't know how much of this you got from me, Usama, or how much came from your brilliant mind. But this is amazing right here. This is what I call like a mini demo, which lets you see the product in action. So great. So great. I even like this little cool thing that you did here. I can actually see somebody design a post. There might be a way to make this so that you can even see the aha even better. But I can see him generating a tweet post in a few seconds that looks really great. There's kind of a lot of stuff going on, so it might be a little bit too overwhelming, but I'm being really nitpicky here because it looks so good. So this is great. I love this here. Switching between apps, struggling to find ideas, spending hours repurposing content. This is the before and after. So contrast is a really good copywriting strategy. Anytime you can show really drastic contrast. Never run out of post ideas again. Great, because this is a job to be done. The job to be done here is coming up with ideas for posts. It's not, you notice he didn't say, explode your sales with amazing Instagram link posts, right? Like that, he can't really promise that. But what he can promise is never running out of post ideas again. And that's the kind of person that's signing up for this. This is one of the challenges they have. It's like, what am I going to post about? What do they want? One of their deep desires is to go viral. So this is great. Templates that help you go viral. It's not saying templates that will make you go viral. So this is a believable promise. Repurpose content like a pro. A little bit too fuzzy. I would probably say something like, turn any post, repurpose your content. I'd have to spend a little bit of time on that, but like repurpose anything into a social media post might be a little bit better. It also does so much more. That's great. Write your post all in one tool. Love this. This is great. These little GIFs, I can actually see the product in action. These are little demos. Guys, this is so cool. Why choose? Content drips. Love this testimonial. Great. So let's try. I already actually have an account. So I'm going to sign up from scratch here. So anyways, we talked about onboarding. It's like, it's hard to separate, just take the onboarding in a silo and separate it from the front end marketing side and then the back end, the promises that you're making, they all kind of go together. So when I signed up for this product, what I'm expecting is to be able to create posts really easily. Like that's what I'm expecting. And can I experience that within the onboarding process? Yes, I can. I can't experience going viral. If it said if this said go viral in 20 minutes guaranteed or whatever, like I'm going to be really disappointed when I sign in. So let's go through this. These are actually interesting. These are both very similar products, not identical, but okay. So you do the same thing as PosterMyWall. You let them go in and look at the designs. One thing that I would do again is, and it looks like you have access to all these things here. Please sign up to save your post. Idea board. I would actually start off with kind of a choose your own adventure kind of thing, where it says, what can we help you do? What can we build for you today? Or how do you want to get started? I have an idea for a post. Turn my blog into social media post. Generate ideas for me. So all of these things here would be like little modals, right? And you get to pick which one you want. So let's say I say, oh, today I already have a blog post that I want to turn into a Facebook post. Let me click on that one. And then it takes me to these, designs. But if I click on, generate ideas for me, it takes me to this one. And then I don't, so there's some stuff here that I would add. One really great thing to do, especially, so this is kind of a new thing, right? When I see ideas board, I don't know what this means or what this looks like. So part of the onboarding is explaining new features and the value of the features quickly so that people see the value. I don't know what this is. A place to jot down ideas quickly. This looks like it looks like a note-taking app, and that's not what I'm expecting. So now I'm confused, because is this a place for me just to make notes about my social media posts, or is it a place for me to take notes about ideas for my business? Or like, I'm not really sure. And what does create with AI, how does that fit with the ideas board? So I'm confused. Remember, the confused mind doesn't buy. So if you sent me to the ideas board, what I would do is I would have, and again, I haven't used this product yet, so I don't really know, but I would have like a modal that says, welcome to ideas board. Ideas board is a place for you to jot down ideas that you can turn into social media posts. Whenever you have an idea, come here, type in your idea and save it and come back to it later, right? So, so you just explain what it is, right? And you can even have a little text under here. It says, see how it works, and it's a link, and it opens up a little video modal, and it says, welcome to Ideas Board. Ideas Board is a place for you to do, and just explain it. It's a quick video, and they can always click on it, and it's always there to remind them how this part of the product works. You can always come back to it, because trust me, they're going to forget. People's short-term memory is getting worse and worse. So they can always come back. What's Ideas Board again? Oh, yeah. So again, this is kind of dropping me in the jungle, and you want to help guide me to where I need to go, right? So even this right post, oh shoot, doesn't look like it's working for me. I can't really write anything. Please sign up to put your contact via LinkedIn. Usama, one of the things that I really liked about content drips is that there's a brand element to it. And so I upload my picture and I upload my brand and whatever, and it automatically populates all that stuff for me when I put in posts. And I'm not really seeing that here. That's really something that's unique to content drips. So, so if having the onboarding that's like choose your own adventure kind of style, where it's like create a post, create ideas for me, have AI write a post for me, whatever, like those are all, that's what I would do there. I might also consider having even removing all of this stuff and just having like, hey, pick a template to create. And then once I click on, billboards, and then click on the one that I want, then I have options here that say like, let AI write my content. Maybe the idea board is here, right? Because then I can put my ideas in here. You have download. Okay, that's cool. You have all this stuff over here. Brand assets. I think there should be some kind of onboarding where you upload your image and your color scheme and stuff, and does that for you automatically when you create a design. That'd be really cool. But again, we'd have to discuss that a little bit more. But anyways, what is it that makes you not necessarily better, but what is it that makes you special, unique, or different, and make sure that's included in the onboarding too. If it's really easy to get posts created, you know, like the onboarding could even be, what are some topics you want to talk about? I want to talk about business growth. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. If you click next, it says, great, we've created these posts for you. Which one do you want to turn into a Twitter post? You click on it, and then it opens up the Twitter thing here, and you click on the design. You click on the design, and then boom, it puts it in the content right into the, you know, the image. So they don't even have to do anything. Like, they just click next, 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 and it shows them the actual end result, right? Because there's a lot of, like, even if I click on one of these designs, I still have to write the actual post. And so if you can do that for them by forcing them to go through like an AI or whatever, or upload what would be really cool too is like send me a link to or upload one of your blogs, and we'll create 7 different social media posts from it. I don't know if like you can do that, but like, again, that's really special and unique and different. So you might want to think about that too. So anyways, other than that, it's looking good. I know we're over time, guys. I'm going to keep going though. So let's let me create.
Yeah, Aaron, I'll let you maybe just conclude on this one, maybe in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let me just sign up really quick, and then that was interesting. I think I created my account, but I can't really tell. So even having like Usama, like, hey, congratulations, your account has been created. What can we help you build today? Right? Like, that's an easy way to get them into the right thing. Create post ideas for me. Generate a template. Upload my brand stuff. So it just drops me in. So, and this is really, there's really nothing different here than when I didn't have an account. But I guess I can save my stuff. So even if you said, welcome, your account is created, all of your, content will be saved in your account. Would you like to access premium features for 7 days? Right? Like that's a way to get them to experience some of the features, right? So I get a lot of the same advice that I gave for PosterMyWall works for this one too. But cool. All right. Awesome. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Was this helpful for everyone today? Did you guys learn something?
If we can get some emoji, a rain of emojis to thank Aaron. This was brilliant stuff, Aaron. Thank you so much for the tactical feedback. And we dug deep in there, and I think a lot of people benefited from this. So thank you so much. And this is probably going to be one of the more sought after recordings. I'm already getting messages in the group that when is the recording coming out.